The ZA Tech Show is made possible by Vodacom. Power to you at vodacom.co.za. And by BlackBerry. Love doing business on your BlackBerry smartphone at blackberry.co.za. Hello and welcome to episode number 189 of the ZA Tech Show. I think I might have missed my audio cue there because I couldn't hear what was happening with the video playing. But that's okay. My name is Simon Dingle. Welcome to the show. Our last live show for 2011. We will still have shows for the remainder of the year, but they will be pre-recorded. Let me introduce you to our panel for this show. Andy Hadfield is here from andyhadfield.com.
Hello, Simon, and a happy Christmas to you.
Jeez.
Almost.
You really got that
I
mic
put
down,
up the tree, man.
Make
It's
it a
up.
bit softer.
I put up the tree. My kid unpacked the tree. I put up the
Is your
tree.
tree up
my
already?
Kid packed up the tree. Yeah, I know it's up. It's up.
Well done.
Wine today, as usual. Riet Valet. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon 2009. Apparently, the 2009 is a really good red wine year in South Africa.
2009.
Yeah, I'm holding on to a bottle of 2009 Chateau Libertas.
Would you like a year early with drinking that stuff?
I don't know.
Don't you
Anyway.
have to choose a real wine, though, Andy?
What, Chateau Babbelas?
Chateau
Anyway,
Babbelas.
this is a Riet Valet Cab Sav. You must let me know what you think. I'll pour it while you intro.
Andy
everyone
brings
else.
wine every week. He's
I
here
do.
because he. I don't know why really, but he
He's
runs
awesome.
real-time wines. So check that out.
Real-time wine.
If
.co.za.
you're-
Oh, I've got an awesome story, like a 5-seconder.
Really?
So I just negotiated the purchase of realtimewine.com. It was an arduous process. How much do you think I paid?
I
Well-
don't know.
Well, I know how much you paid because
Oh,
I
do you?
paid, but
Oh, yes. You Had to use your PayPal account. So I've been hearing some shocker stories about what domains are going for these days.
Alright.
You know, like anywhere upwards of $10, $20, $30, $40,000.
Well, yeah, it depends on the domain.
It's an okay domain name.
if you
it's
got
a bit long.
business.com, maybe.
Yeah. Sex.com was what, $18 million?
Yeah.
Anyway, $50.
$50.
Yeah,
Not bad.
realtimewine.com.
Mazel tov.
I own the Mobi, the Com, the Net, the Kozar. Anyway,
Well done, Andy
I shall
Hadfield. You do that. Ben Kelly is here from the Mail and Guardian
Good evening, Simon.
and elsewhere. How are you, Ben?
I'm very well.
That's good. Great.
Looking forward to the break.
Yeah. Brett Haggard is here from
Hello.
Hypertext Media Communications,
Hello,
publishers of
Si.
Connect magazine. How's it going, Bredsky?
good and you.
Ooh, you got one of those Acer S3s.
That is correct.
Let's talk about that. What a piece of rubbish. Anyway,
Surprised he's not wearing.
Don't be a hater, man.
He should be wearing
Why?
gloves.
Simon, are you a little grumpy today?
no, I'm
I
fine.
quite
I'm
like
fine.
it.
Can I tell you what my problem is? Let's dive straight into it with the Acer S3. It's an Ultrabook, which is this term that Intel's tried to coin for PCs that try to be MacBook Airs. And and so Acer's come up with a really cool Ultrabook, and the reason it's really cool is because it's dirt cheap. So the one I'm testing is a Core i7 with 4 gigs of RAM and I think 250 gig SSD hard drive, which in the States goes for about $1,500. So call it 10,000 Rand. South Africa price,
20,000.
16,000 Rand. I mean,
Okay,
At
look,
10,000 Rand-
That's a lot of wrongness.
at
right there.
10,000 Rand, you got a deal because it's a decent Ultrabook. It's got a nasty plastic chassis. They've put aluminium on the top to make it look expensive, and all it makes it is top heavy because it's got this nasty plastic chassis. And they're selling it for 16 grand. They are smoking something redonkulous.
Especially when you consider what a MacBook Air goes for.
16,000 Rand.
That's one
So-
of the fairly high-spec MacBook Airs as well.
Yeah.
So the one I've got is not the same spec as yours, Si. This is a Core i5 4 gigs, 320 gig
Yeah.
magnetic rotational hard drive. But the one thing that's quite clever about it is it's got a 20 gig SSD that allows it to sleep in like 3 seconds, wake up in 3 seconds, really boosts the performance. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I
And
don't
that
know.
is quite a bit cheaper from what I understand.
Look, cheap Ultrabook's cool, but Acer's being a bit greedy in South Africa. I don't understand why anybody would buy that instead of a MacBook Air. Even if you want to run Windows, just put Windows on the MacBook Air, right? Right.
Thinner, it's prettier, and it's more reliable. Or sometimes it's more reliable.
Anyway, you know, that's what Acer does. You just stick at what you're good for, making budget PCs. That's what they do.
So, Is this in any way linked to that hard drive shortage? It can't be. It's too quick.
No,
That the price has gone up.
no. And also, from what I can tell, the hard drive storage is more for conventional hard drives. It doesn't affect SSD so much, which
I think
is
most of those
chip-based.
are made in Korea.
Yeah.
The SSDs are made in Korea because it's
True.
flash memory, which is
No,
all
I just-
Samsung and LG.
I just saw an article on Tech Meme that said Intel slashes sales outlook by $1 billion on
Yeah,
hard drive shortage.
that's not so cool.
Because no one built a moat around their
Depending on
factory
your
in Thailand.
perspective.
I'm not sure if a moat is what you need.
I think a moat would be pretty good. Just
A
leave it empty.
moat.
A big wall.
I'm not sure moats help against flooding either, Ben, to be
Well,
honest.
if you leave it empty all the time and then when the water come in, so you can-
Okay, fair enough. So that's the SAS3. I think, next year will definitely be the year of the Ultrabook. If you're getting a new laptop now, there's really no reason to worry about having a optical drive. Even in South Africa, I find that most of the applications I run, you kind of download and install. And if you really need a CD drive, you can access them over the network.
you
so
can just buy one and plug it
sure, or you can get an external, but,
in.
whatever.
I mean, I think the rumors of the 15-inch MacBook Air
Yes.
will really set the cat amongst the pigeons
Yeah.
in the Ultrabook arena. I think that's going to probably spell the death knell for the classic
Heavy
heavy
laptop.
notebook computer. Yeah, everybody's going to be trying to build them into thinner and lighter.
I'm
machines
surprised
now.
we aren't seeing capacitive touchscreens prolifically on laptops yet. You are starting to see it. I suppose it's a cost thing, right?
I think
I
maybe
think
a
with
cost thing.
Windows 8 we'll start seeing it
I think
more.
I think it's a software thing. I think it's just that I mean, I think sure somebody would build one with a decent capacitive touchscreen,
Yeah.
but the software isn't really there to support it yet.
Because I tell you what, when you're in Windows 8 and you've got that Metro display app, you really do want to reach over and touch the screen every now and then. It's sort of instinctive almost.
But I think that's where they're going, surely.
definitely.
It's those hybrid devices you guys were showing off a couple of weeks ago
yes,
that are both laptop and touchscreen.
true. Yeah,
And then they'll have to invent a cure for oily fingers.
that they will. Yeah, that's like the bane of current technology. There are two problems: screens that get full of greasy finger marks and batteries that last half a day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember the mobile phones of 5 years ago where your battery would last a week? Those were pretty cool.
Totally.
So basically, the law is that the battery life on your computing device is going up, and the battery life on your telecommunications device is going down.
Yeah, something like that.
And at some points they will cross.
Probably. So, speaking of PCs, a company that's can't really make up its mind what it's doing with them is HP. But we found out today that they're open sourcing WebOS,
Yeah. I think-
which is cool, right? That's the right thing to do
I
with
think
something that
it's-
you can't sell.
Yeah, exactly.
That you can't, you give it away.
Well, that was. Can I do a teaser, Simon?
Of course you can.
After the show, we're recording some snippets for the.
Oh man,
Am I allowed to say this?
you said teaser, not spoiler.
Sorry. Okay. Well, I'll stop then.
I'm joking. Carry on. Carry on.
For that we'll put out later in the month when we're not live.
Yes.
And on my list of presents to give your geek this Christmas, I put down WebOS.
Presents to give your geek. Yes, WebOS. You can fit it on a stiffy. Put it in their stocking.
And you'll probably pick it up cheap as well.
So, I wonder who this will be adopted by. You see, the problem is, in this day and age, you kind of need a vendor to get the whole app ecosystem going before you. And without critical mass of some sort, without some form of consumer demand, how do you get developers to develop for the platform? It'll be a very slow process, surely.
Well, look, if BlackBerry's battling, then
Oh, yeah.
WebOS has its work cut out for it.
I mean,
Certainly.
there's a part of it which goes, if you're HTC and suddenly you've got a third operating system you can throw at your devices,
Yeah.
then are you not saying, well, let's give it a shot? We'll put some product out there. We won't spend a huge amount of money on it, but we'll put some product out there and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe people are interested in it. And if you're Hawaii or ZTE or one of these up-and-coming players, then maybe you do it as well. You say, well, you know what? It's not going to kill us to build just to port the OS to the device. You
Yeah.
know, it's in terms of the greater scheme of things, it's pocket change for them.
Sure.
And they ship a few thousand devices, see how they go, and see if they can
Yeah.
kickstart the ecosystem, and it gives them the ability to break out of the
Yeah.
HTC have got Windows Mobile, Windows Phone 7.5,
Yes.
and they've got Android.
Yeah.
And that's really where they're stuck. So they're either between Google and Microsoft. Now, if somebody gives them a third way where the vendor is maybe not even as,
Right.
doesn't have a vested interest like Google has,
Yeah.
and isn't evil like Microsoft, then
All right. So WebOS is Unix based, right? Linux based.
Yeah.
So maybe you could get Android apps running on it with a little bit of a
Yeah,
push.
I was going to ask, how long before we have some kind of middle layer that just allows you to develop once, and then the battle is actually for the front end?
The SDKs are already there. And in South Africa there's the RAMP SDK, for example, from Virtual Mobile Technologies, VMT, I think that's right.
I'd actually argue, Andy, that we're already there.
No.
It's
Trust
called,
me.
No.
From someone who's just costed building 5 smartphone
Dude.
apps, we are not there.
It's called HTML5
Yeah.
and web apps.
Dude.
I've seen some amazing stuff done with web apps recently. Seriously,
Word,
I could
yeah.
not tell the difference between a native app and the web app. Maybe the native app was just very badly developed, but I could seriously not tell the difference.
And what was this? A puzzle game?
I can't tell you what it was, but it was.
No, but you
pretty
saw the app.
impressive.
What was it doing?
It was a content-rich app. It was a
Yeah, but what was it? What was the app? What did it? Who made it?
who made it.
Yeah, what
So-
does the app do?
So what the app does, right, is it delivers content, video, audio, and text-based stuff to a handheld device or a tablet.
Okay, so it's like a website.
Yes,
That
but
plays
it look-
videos
But it
and-
looks exactly like an application that's natively running on the
Okay.
box. It's just been skinned unbelievably well.
Yeah, I know you can do
Right.
that. They call it an app wrapper. So
Yep.
the app is a wrapper for the HTML5, which does some of the sexy stuff. But I think the fact remains that if you're developing native at the moment, you still get a better experience.
Certainly.
I mean, if you want to see one of the most amazing, just for an idea of what's coming in apps, have you guys checked out Kevin Rose's Oink?
Yes.
Yes, very interesting stuff, actually.
That interface it does some pretty smart stuff.
It is very smart. I don't know if it's going to succeed where Foursquare has failed. Not that Foursquare's failed, but
Fair
it's
enough.
supposed to bring things to the fore that Foursquare doesn't cover.
Correct. It's kind of a rate.
But in terms of interfaces,
Sure.
definitely. Another great example at the moment is Path.
I've
Path
been hearing a lot about
came
Path.
out a while ago, and it's been sort of reinvented and re-released with one of the most gorgeous interfaces I've ever seen. It's a social network essentially, but it limits your friend list to 150 people. So it's really only for the people closest to you. And it's got location support, and you check in and you tell it who you're with, and you upload photos and all the rest of it. But the nice thing with it is, A, this amazing interface, and B, the fact that it really is only your friends and people you care about. So I find that people are being way more personal on Path. If they've got an issue that they want to explore or a problem with somebody, they'll say it on Path, whereas they would think twice about saying it on Facebook, and they wouldn't say it on Twitter at all. So it's like a completely closed social network.
Yeah.
But, forget that. It's probably not something anybody needs. But the interface is beautiful. It really shows off what you can do with a Cocoa app on iOS. And we are way, way far off from you doing that kind of thing with HTML5.
Yeah, no, we are. Well, you've still got to, and that's the problem I've had while I'm costing the real-time wine development, is that a BlackBerry developer doesn't develop on Nokia usually, and a Nokia developer doesn't develop on Android, and Android doesn't do iOS.
Yeah,
And you can only get so far with these app wrapper type things.
definitely.
So it gets expensive, and you need a lot of. I feel sorry for startups now because simply the amount of skills you need to get going in the mobile space
Sure.
is prohibitive.
Yeah.
It's why I'm probably not hiring a dev force for the first year. I'm going to use an agency.
That said, I think if you are a startup, you need to look at what you can do with the web. In lieu of developing an application, maybe that can come later.
Yeah, that too. I mean, they've got a lot easier in Silicon Valley because they can choose, we're just going iOS.
Yes.
So that's what Kevin Rose does. He said, iPhone only. There's plenty of market.
Yeah.
We can do everything here, worry about the rest later. In South Africa, it's not the same.
Yeah.
If you want to go with one phone, you've probably got to go with Nokia.
Yeah, Symbian. I was about to say.
You've got to go
Symbian,
Symbian if you want penetration.
It depends on which market you're targeting, but yeah, fair
Even
enough.
the smartphone market, half of it's Nokia.
Yeah, you can
That's
call those
according to Nokia's
smartphones-
definition of a smartphone.
If you want to call those smartphones, you can. But
Web-enabled data-carrying devices.
Above average intelligence phone, maybe.
yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with WebOS. I hope somebody picks it up. We're going to see Ubuntu on tablets and phones as well. Shuttleworth said that was going to come around 2015, which is a long way off, but it's coming. But I would.
Why it's taking him so long? I mean, surely there is a golden opportunity. He could
So,
take WebOS.
The feeling I got, and this is the feeling I got. I'm not saying this is literally his thinking, but I did quite a few interviews with Shuttleworth when I was writing a chapter on him for South Africa's Greatest Entrepreneurs, which is a book that came out, and I wrote the chapter on him. So, had a few interviews with him in preparing this work. And the feeling I got from him is that he didn't see much value in, the current smart device ecosystem. And I think he might have a point. Stephen Ellop told me the same thing when I met with him in March. He's the Nokia CEO. I said to him, what's your thoughts on tablets? And is it something that you'd like Nokia to move into? And he said, you know what? He said, I've played with every tablet on the market. He says, I'm not really seeing it. It's, it's a nice to have, but they're all pretty much the same. I don't think any of them are delivering any real value. I think, and he said to me, I'm sure that the next generation of tablets will, but he said, I've told my engineers not to show me anything on the tablet front until it's really something different, because I'm not getting much from tablets right now.
Although Nokia is apparently in the process of developing a tablet.
Okay.
So a senior exec
Well-
actually let it slip a couple of weeks ago.
Well, if Nokia wasn't in the process of developing a tablet, their CEO should be fired.
It's a strong statement.
Oh, well,
Look,
I
with
mean,
their
sorry, but
partnership
if you-
with Microsoft, it makes sense for Nokia to look at Windows 8 on a tablet, I guess,
Yeah.
now that they're
So-
in that ecosystem.
So I was chatting to someone this week. You touched on Windows 8 and tablets for a sec. So I was chatting to someone in the past couple of days, in fact, who should know this kind of stuff. So it's a pretty authoritative source. And he was saying that from what he's...
Can you tell us who he is?
No, I can't tell you who he is because of what I'm about to tell you. He
Okay.
opined,
but
so
it's
to
a
speak.
he, so that narrows it down.
And it's
Yes.
authoritative.
Yes, so that narrows him down to
Although when
what,
he doesn't have a
98%
name.
of the
Yeah.
IT industry. Andy, good going. But he was actually saying to me that his take on it at the moment is that the whole Windows 8 ARM thing
Yeah.
leads him to believe that Windows 8 will become available on ARM tablet before it becomes available on Intel.
All right.
So
Well,
we
that
will
makes
see
sense.
Windows
we will
8's
see
already
Windows
on
8
Intel.
No, but we will see Windows 8
Tablets.
So full release Windows 8 tablets available in the market a good few months before notebooks and desktops.
Before
running
February.
Not before Feb,
But isn't Feb when Windows 8 lands?
no. It's not even in beta yet, so it'll be out before the end of 2012.
Yeah, beta early next
Okay.
year.
But it will not. I mean, it's in developer preview right now. It's got to go beta 1, beta 2,
Just that would be a massive
Gold
shift for
code,
Microsoft
RTM.
if
Gold
you saw
code.
it.
Yeah.
then RTM, and
I know
then
the
full
roadmap. but
availability. So you're
last
probably
time there
looking
was a
at like
month between either
August,
of those.
September, October next year for full release of Windows 8. But his prediction is that it will be available, fully available in market, preloaded on ARM-based tablets before it comes to desktop and notebook. And strange enough, if you actually sit down and think about it, I'd buy that because there's absolutely no legacy with ARM. There's no porting across of any applications. Any
Right.
application that gets developed for that environment would be developed from scratch.
I see.
And if
Yeah.
you think about the usage model difference between using a notebook and a desktop versus using a tablet, the kind of applications and the kind of things you do on those devices are vastly different, right?
Right.
So from that perspective, it also kind of makes sense.
So the Windows 8 App Store goes live this week, apparently.
I don't know.
That'll be great. So we can finally actually do something with Windows 8 developer preview. That'd
Yeah, I've
be
been playing
rad.
with Developer Preview. It is very limited at the moment. It gives you a taste of Metro. Not well, you have to kind of use Windows 8 with half a mind to the fact that it's a really early stage
Yeah.
of the operating
So
system
if you
because there are a
remember
lot
what
of
they did with
annoyances.
Longhorn changed a lot.
What I find works well with it is I've got a Logitech mouse with one of those scroll wheels that you can click to the sides, and that sort of
in terms
natively
of
in
getting around
Windows
the
kind of
tiles.
shifts the Metro interface around. So that kind of works, not having touch. But they really have, Metro is clearly designed for touch interfaces. And then I've been playing with the new Xbox dashboard, which has gone in the
Oh.
same direction.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Loving it. Loving it. think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Sounded
You?
very
Some
gay.
strange things,
No,
though.
no, it is.
Lawrence
It
is
is.
loving
It
it.
is
So-
really awesome.
So I was lying on the couch, wanted to play a DVD that was in the tray. So you wave, and your hand comes up, and I hold it and play DVD, and it plays. Like, this is cool. I don't need a remote. Except then the DVD loads its menu, and there's no way to get past there. So you're like, no, I have to stand up and go and get a remote.
Or you get to the you want to play a video file,
Yeah.
and you go, what is it? My apps. Because now
Yes.
they've hidden video play under my apps.
They've hidden it away from
And,
us.
and as soon as you get to the thing, it says you now need a controller,
Yeah.
and it's
It's
like,
like,
thanks.
why don't you just let me get the controller in the first place?
And then,
Yes,
and then
as
I
you
go,
wave, get up and get a controller,
Yeah.
dumbass.
and then you're in watching the movie, and you can't go Xbox pause
Yes.
because it doesn't. It goes, you go Xbox, for God's sake, Xbox, and it's like, sorry, were you talking to me?
It is quite funny.
So
Computer
I mean,
said
And then-
no.
I mean, I'm sorry, but that is like the first thing that you'd want to do use voice control for.
Yes.
Is pause, play, fast forward.
The other thing I love is Bing search for your games library. Thanks.
Or four
I
titles.
really needed Bing to find one of the 12 games for the Xbox.
Isn't that the difference, though, between Siri and other competitors? Is that Siri is so deep inside that OS that
No,
you should be able to
There's a
control
bigger
movies.
differentiator. The biggest differentiator is that Siri works.
I was about to say, Siri's awesome, and everything else isn't.
What's the Windows thing on Windows Phone, their voice thing? What is it? Something
It's also
Tell
Bing,
Me.
Isn't
Isn't it
Bing
just called
search?
Tell Me?
Oh, is it Tell Me?
There was an Australian guy, and the Australians are great tests for it is Tell Me versus Siri. Let me put up the sound. So this guy put a Windows Phone device next to an iPhone, and he spoke to them both, and it's actually quite funny what they came up with. You guys don't have headphones, but anyway, for the benefit of our
I spoke to
listeners.
an Android device the other day, and it totally got me wrong.
So the Tech TV did this, or Tech AU, sorry, and it's not coming through because we got audio problems apparently. All right, scrap that idea. Was a great idea.
Can I tell
Tell
you
Me
what
service
unbelievably
Oh,
well
yeah, we
on
go.
Windows Phone 7
Hold on.
is similar to
Sorry.
Siri
working
on the
now, we
iPhone
get
Yeah.
the
4S.
sound.
So I thought,
So
what better way to test
he's
than
Australian,
actually do a voice test between
which
the two
means that
devices,
poor
the two
Siri's going to be
systems,
confused
and
from the
okay,
beginning anyway.
let's see.
Yes. It's going to return a sheet
So, yeah,
no
we
matter
go.
what he says.
Okay, so he holds in the button on both devices.
Create a meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Create a meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. He says.
Okay, here's your
Create a meeting tomorrow at Teen Anal, says Windows Phone. While Siri has created a meeting.
No.
You see, that's what Android did to me. A very similar thing. Like directions to my neighborhood cafe, and it sent me to other
Cancel.
world.
Change time to.
Um,
or change title.
So while we're
Cancel.
talking about voice activation and stuff, the one
Hold
thing
on,
that I
hold
do-
on, hold on.
Okay, is there,
He's
is
going to do
there more
another one.
All right, Jason, I'll leave it off your calendar.
The Windows Phone just look at him. Siri's like, all right, Jason, I'll leave it off your calendar. Teen Anal still on the screen.
Send a text to Simone.
Send a text to Simone. Siri's sending a
Okay,
text,
I can send a
and the
text
Windows
to
Phone
Simone
says
Arnold
Stain
for you.
Detector Samo.
What would you like it to say?
So, Microsoft,
Yeah.
you still have somewhere to go.
Can I tell you what the Microsoft phone does very,
understanding
very well
Australian people,
that
that
I've
is.
been kind of impressed with, and I've discovered this completely by accident.
Yeah.
So if you hook your Windows Mango phone up to a car kit,
Yes.
a Bluetooth car kit, and you're driving along and somebody sends you a text message, it'll actually pop up a little audio cue that comes over the Bluetooth and says, "You've received a new text message." You can say, "Read it," or "I'm done." You go, "Read it."
And then it starts playing Angry Birds.
No. It actually It actually works ridiculously well. It actually reads it.
Okay.
Okay, out to you, and then you can kind of go, "I'm done," or respond, or call back, or whatever the case is.
That's cool.
It's one of the most useful things I've found
Yeah.
that phone does so far. It is really, really useful. So
Have it-
yeah, it'll also allow you to so the moment there's a voicemail message, that's
Yeah.
quite useful as well. You just get the SMS.
Sure.
You can go call through. It calls through to 121 or whatever the case is, and you can listen to your message. So it's intuitive enough to know whether you're on a car kit or not and activate that feature. It is, strangely enough, pushing it to the cloud, which is kind of interesting. So it dials your voicemail number, it dials 121 on Vodacom, which is kind of interesting, and then it reads the text back to you, which is kind of
Reads the
weird.
text.
So if you send me a text message while I'm on my car kit,
Yeah.
right, it says you've received a new.
Yeah.
You get a phone call from 121. Well, sorry, your phone dials out to 121.
You get an SMS and then it dials 121.
Yes, it dials the cloud almost, but what the number it's using to dial the cloud is 121. All right, and it reads out your text message to you using this computerized voice, but
so hold on.
it's initiating a phone call. So what I'm saying, Si, is it's not
But
shipping
121's your
the
voicemail.
text. Yes,
So it's not playing you your voicemail.
it does exactly the same thing when you receive just a normal text message, which I found quite interesting. Is it somehow
It's very strange.
delivers the audio via 121, which is your voicemail. Which is
Oh,
quite
but you sure
interesting.
that you're not confusing it just with Vodacom's
No,
text
if
to...
you send me a text message to say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
It will notify me of the fact that there is a text message, and I can go
Earth
play
would
it and
dial
it'll play it.
121?
I have no idea, but it works. Somehow it works, and
Okay.
that I find pretty awesome.
Interesting. Very interesting. We will check that out later because I want to try it now and see it in action. We're going to talk about DStv and Apps's NFC trial and Tech Central's Newsmakers of the Year for 2011, local loop unbundling, and so much more on the ZA Tech Show. But first, I want to thank our sponsors, Vodacom, for being our partners in the show this year during 2011. It's been fantastic working with Vodacom. They are our anchor sponsors of the ZA Tech Show. And the Vodacom Digital Magazine, issue number 2, is out now. It's called Now as well, with an exclamation mark. The December issue of Now Digital Magazine. It's a consumer lifestyle publication distributed amongst Vodacom's contract customers. Issue 2 offers an interactive and multi-layered experience featuring video animation on an interactive content platform. So if you check it out on your tablet, for example, or your smartphone. This month, they check out future homes, near-field communications, online shopping, and a whole lot more. So if you're a Vodacom subscriber and you want to check that out, then go to vodacom.digitalmag.co.za. That's vodacom.digitalmag.co.za. And thank you to Vodacom for their support of the ZA Tech Show. And now, regular programming resumes.
Back to our regular programming. You need a jingle for that.
Yes.
This show should have more jingles.
This show, there's a lot of things this show should have more of.
Speak to Leo Laporte. He's got a jingle for everything.
Yes, he does.
Actually, him and Dick D. Bartolo.
No, you need to listen to No Agenda, the Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak one. There
Your
actually is a jingle
conspiracy
for
theorists
everything.
scare me.
No, they're complete whack jobs, but they have rad jingles.
So speaking of whack jobs, DStv is launching a new satellite because that's what the world needs
More
more of.
HD all the time.
Help them cover more of Africa, help them with more HD, not help them with two-way communications because their satellite infrastructure don't do that. Don't play that. But launching things into space just generally is quite exciting. I'm a fan of the principle.
Throwing
Can we
wood,
go?
yeah.
Can we
Throwing
go?
wood, yeah. I've got a whole list of people I want launched into
But
space.
I've been thinking a lot about the future of television because, you know, that's what we do as technology journalists. We try and figure out where things are going. And, you know, looking at Plex and reading Walter Isaacson's Steve Jobs and the statement by Steve that he had finally cracked TV, and thinking about 2011 and 2012 where we might see Apple launch something that disrupts the television market, much like iTunes did with music some years ago. Looking at what's happening with Google TV and Microsoft and Xbox, and just the disintermediation eventually, it has to happen down the road of the world's pay television providers when an Apple or Google or Microsoft steps in, right? Because they're able to facilitate far more beneficial agreements with the studios in terms of distribution, even if the studios themselves don't realize that yet. And so if you're a DStv, how do you fit into that paradigm? That's what I've been trying to figure out. Like, what's the road ahead for multi-choice? I mean, they're doing cool things with DStv online and on demand. They're definitely experimenting with the right things, but I wonder what the answer is, especially when you've got satellite infrastructure that you have to consider, that you've spent a hell of a lot of money on, you know. And I mean, in Africa for distribution, satellite is it for now and for the foreseeable future.
Isn't their biggest
Or
growth?
is it?
Isn't their biggest growth not going to come from technology in the next kind of 2 to 3 years, but from getting the price down so that more of the market can enter the satellite game?
Well, and so they've started to do that. You know, they've
Yeah.
got those cheaper packages
The
and
bundles and all that kind of stuff.
And
But I mean, maybe there's something that can do more. Because
yeah,
it's still, how many DStv subscribers are there? 1 million, 1.5 million?
I don't know what their current numbers are. I know it's been growing pretty
It has,
healthily. Yeah.
but it's still there and thereabouts. Now, what could you do to get that out to 30 million people?
Sure.
Because then you've got volume, and the minute you've got volume, you can then play
Yeah.
on the premium end, you can play on the bottom end.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy.
Because, I mean, we all know that your series-based television's going on demand, right? And if an
Yeah.
Apple or a Google or a Microsoft can go to ABC, for example, and say, or HBO, and say every time somebody downloads Game of Thrones, they're going to have to pay $5. And if it's available to the whole world, I'm pretty sure there'll be 1 million people willing to pay $5 for an episode of Game of Thrones, which means that that episode makes $5 million and you can carry on making this really expensive series, right? No-brainer. Sport's a little bit more tricky, but I think in the long term, you know, Saru, for example, or Saru, or the rugby guys, right? But these sports bodies go, well, actually, we control this content. Maybe we should be providing the live streams to this and making more money from it than we do by giving it to a Supersport or somebody else. Do they take control of that content and its live streaming? Where's this going?
I don't know. Well, as you said, at least they're experimenting in the right places. I think we lost everyone.
All right, let's move on. I don't think Brett's even.
No, I know
Hello,
absolutely,
Brett.
I know absolutely nothing about the topic, so I'm not going to even comment.
All
So,
right.
For a change,
I was
Simon.
busy
If
working
I was
out
your
how
high
many
school English
subscribers
teacher, I'd go, what is the
DStv has.
topic? And you
Oh,
go,
okay.
Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
About 1.2 million.
Yeah,
And you would win
Yeah.
a toaster.
And they added an extra 209,000 in the last year. So
And I'm told that by far the most popular channel on DStv is SABC1.
well, a lot of people, I guess, would buy the cheapest
That
DStv
sounds like a rumor.
the cheapest DStv offering, and then put up a dish because they don't want to put up an aerial.
Yeah.
You know, if you're paying your $20 a month or $20 a year or whatever it is for DStv Zero, whatever it's called, which is just your free to air.
DStv Zero.
Well, it's just your free to air stuff.
I don't think that's a good
yeah.
marketing name.
No, you see,
Ben.
that would bias the stat. You're right.
And then you watch. So you just do it because you get a better signal out of DStv than you do out of SABC.
You
Yeah.
still got to pay your TV license,
You
though.
still got to pay your TV. Well, nobody pays their TV license. I do because I had to buy a new TV and they won't sell you.
backpedal there.
No, I didn't have a TV license, and then
now you
and
do.
then I got a new TV, and they won't sell you a TV unless you've got a
It's
TV
ridiculous that you need a TV license. It's stupid.
When
You
last
know?
did you watch something on SABC, Simon?
Whatever, man. I don't have a way to watch SABC. I don't have an antenna that supports it, and I don't have a DStv subscription.
I mean-
so even if I wanted to watch SABC, I couldn't.
I think the
I
I
like
think the
your
whole-
story. Pay your TV license, Simon. It's the right thing to do.
I can kiss my
I think
ass.
I think, and this may tie into the next topic if it is the next topic.
Sure.
it
Wishful thinking, Ben, but yes.
Now, that's called a
Mine.
segue and a dream.
Yes. is the whole basis of where TV is going
Yes.
is linked intrinsically to the issue of local loop unbundling.
Okay.
Because
Check. He's like, local look unbundling. Wink, wink.
okay, so
Maybe that should be our next topic.
yes, you said it was on the list.
baby.
The issue is that until we get a competitive local loop,
Yes.
we're not going to be able to deliver competitive TV offerings.
Okay.
So DStv can sit back on their
Laurels.
the laurels. Yes, I was going to use another word, but laurels is the right one.
Laurels works.
Laurels works, and just play the game that they've got. You know, keep on. You know, tweak it here, tweak it there. There's never going to be a true disruptor in the market until
Yes.
the ability to actually deliver true two-way communications, high-speed video on demand, plus scheduled TV, essentially the cable TV offering
Yes.
over a fixed line, a fiber optic or high-speed ADSL, is actually a reality.
Yeah.
And so at the moment, DStv have got a captive market. They know they've got a captive market, and they're not going to change. You know, and I mean, and the stuff up which is local loop and bundling at the moment, all it did is just hand DStv an effective here Telkom, carry on
But-
the way you've been going for the last 20 years, and screw your customers over as much as you like.
Ouch. But don't you think that local loop unbundling is just too late? I mean, if you look at the networks that stood to benefit from local loop unbundling 8 years ago, they've all rolled out their own networks now. They don't really need Telkom's copper for anything, do they?
Yeah, how many of those have actually got to houses?
No, sure. But I mean, Vodacom and MTN with their Metro Ethernet infrastructure, and Neotel with its fiber infrastructure, they're not far away.
Yeah,
The last mile is still a challenge.
Would it
but
be easier to run one of those cables into the local Telkom exchange, or would it be easier to dig up a whole lot more roads?
But can you do that? Can
customers?
you just run your fiber into the exchange? Because local loop unbundling is for the copper infrastructure.
Yes,
isn't
but
it?
you have to link your network to the copper
No, I
infrastructure.
get that.
So, which is easier, just running your fiber into the local exchange, then hooking onto the unbundled local
Well, if
loop.
you're Neotel, you've got your own exchange.
But you still need to hook onto Telkom's exchange to get access to the copper.
Well, but what if you don't need access to the copper?
Then you're digging trenches to get fiber.
What
to
if
the
you've got enough CDMA coverage and fiber to the curb in other places?
Well, CDMA, you'll never run broadband.
I'm talking about rural areas, though.
video
I'm
on
saying
demand.
in the city, Neotel can give you fiber. They
Yes.
already can.
Well, no, who cares about the rural areas?
Oh, jeez. Nice. That's awesome, Ben.
The rural areas are going to be satellite forever.
Okay, whatever. Satellite, CDMA, LTE.
Yes.
My point is, if you're a Neotel or a Vodacom, you don't need Telkom's. The only people who need Telkom's copper are smaller ISPs or middle tier, maybe ISPs. The
No,
rest of the
I
guys.
I disagree. I mean, they've got even the biggest guy. If you've got a choice of digging up a whole lot of streets to run to every single customer and having to finance that capital outlay, or running one cable into
But
one
they've done it
central point,
already.
they haven't.
They have.
Is there fiber running down outside your street?
Yes.
Do you live in a
From
complex?
Telkom, from Neotel, and from Vodacom.
Do you live in a complex?
No,
Okay. Now, how many people in your street have access to that fiber?
I don't know.
Do you
Nobody
have access to
yet.
fiber? Has anybody come to you and said, Simon, would you like to buy fiber?
No, not
Fiber
yet, Ben.
access.
But they're going to.
Okay.
Eventually, they're busy picking low-hanging fruit from the corporates at the moment.
Yes.
But
so-
eventually, they.
But
have
how long? I mean, would it be faster for them to unbundle the local loop?
Well, at this stage,
Or
we
would it
just
be
never know. We'd like, because it's being so non-committal. They like, no, we're going to phase it in local loop. I'm not sure how you phase in local loop unbundling because it's pretty much all or nothing. And then I was listening to Chris Gibbons' show on 702 when he was interviewing one of the ICASA councillors. And I was like, okay, well, what's the plan for phasing it? Is no, we haven't established that yet.
I mean,
You know,
I
it's
think-
like,
I think there's a great lie being told by Telkom, and ICASA have bought into it
okay,
because people have forgotten to ask the right questions.
yes,
Okay, the right questions is how do you measure the access deficit?
right,
Okay, now I would put money on this table that Telkom take every single fixed line that they have everywhere in the country, from to Buffels met een skoot doodgeskietfontein to Phil to Santon.
okay.
And they aggregate it across. Those rural lines are probably costing them a fortune to
Sure.
run and maintain. Okay.
Well, the ones that haven't been stolen.
Yes, the ones that haven't been stolen, but I'm guessing the ones that haven't been stolen in the smaller towns are costing them a fortune because there's no economies of scale there.
right.
And essentially, what's happening is the Santons of the world are subsidizing the
Sure,
Twee Buffels met een skoot doodgeskiet Fonteinville.
sure. Not only in
the
telecoms,
world.
in most things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but why that small dorp in the middle of nowhere is never going to have? It doesn't have ADSL. It's never
It'll get
going to have,
wireless.
local loop unbundling. It's
It'll
got
get wireless, and they
yeah.
mustn't cry about it. If they want ADSL, then they must come to the city.
Yes, exactly. But what we should be saying is
LTE is pretty good.
how
I've tested it.
I mean, what we should be saying is surely there must be a sort of a
But here's the thing, Ben.
two-speed world.
Telkom doesn't have copper in those areas either. None of those people can get ADSL anyway.
So why is it costing them so much to run this network?
Because they're incompetent,
Because
for one.
because their staff.
My point is local loop unbundling is almost a non-issue because if the kind of network that can capitalize on it, like Neotel or Vodacom, you've spent that since 2008 until now rolling out your own network anyway, and once they close off the national links between Durban, Johannesburg, Cape Town, which are co-owned or jointly owned by Vodacom, MTN and Neotel, once that's done, what on earth do they need Telkom's copper for? And the answer most people give you is last mile. And you're going, yes, but Telkom's copper is terrible at last mile already. It helps ADSL in the suburbs. But in the greater scheme of things, you want wireless, which is Telkom's strategy for getting to those people as well, and you want to put in fiber. So I don't understand who need, other than the small ISPs who are going to be acquired in the next 3 years anyway.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we need Telkom's copper now. Local loop unbundling 10 years ago, fantastic. Then everybody needed it because nobody had their own networks. But now they've got their own networks.
So what should we be unbundling? The wireless local loop.
I don't care what they do with local loop unbundling anymore. Spectrum, yeah, the whole frequency allocation, that's an important issue. And it looks like we're finally going to hear what they're going to do with that later this month.
This week.
This week, actually, yeah.
Because later this month, everybody's gone on holiday. And all the ministers are on the beach in the Bahamas.
The ministers are already on the beach in Bahamas.
But I mean, the point is that I'm very worried about the spectrum issue. Is that ICASA have consistently shown that they want to use spectrum as a weapon to transform the telecom sector.
Right.
And
A weapon.
and consistently it hasn't worked.
No.
Okay, because it's stupid. It's a really, really, really bad idea.
Because why stupid? That's why.
Because then you get the Imperial Crown Tradings of the world,
Yes.
who have no skills and just some credentials, buying access to a resource which they have no ability to use.
Yeah.
Now, the simple fact is that there are the internet solutions, the M-Webs, the Vodacoms, the MTNs, the Neotels of the world, who do know how to use that spectrum.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who should be, I would say they shouldn't even be asked to pay for it. They should just be bloody well given it and said roll out as fast as possible. We won't charge you an acquisition fee. We'll charge you a license fee for the spectrum, which is reasonable, but we won't charge you billions of rands to buy access to the spectrum.
Whoa.
If you roll out fast enough.
I just got a message on my iPhone saying it's been hacked. And then I clicked on continue without reading the rest of the message because I'm doing a
Because
show.
that's what we do.
And I shouldn't be looking at my phone now.
Yeah, it's called live testing.
That was very strange.
Don't you love it? You've been hacked. Confirm? Deny.
No, it's part of my...
Confirm.
So I must tell you, I wiped out my iPhone 2 days ago and did a restore from iCloud because I wanted to see, whether or not it worked. Because theoretically, it's the kind of thing you need when you're traveling, for example. You're a traveling businessman. I can see the pictures on your iPad, Andy.
It's crazy.
Great, well done. It's
Shared
awesome.
by
I hope the
Paul
camera
Hughes.
can't. Anyway, it's just like all heading south tonight. So here's the scenario, right? You're traveling internationally, you lose your iPhone, pop into the Apple Store, buy a new one, restore from iCloud, and you should be up and running again. Except that when I started the restore, it said it would take 38 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right.
Dropped out to 30 hours, went to sleep, woke up, it said 18 hours, left it. That night it finished without a single app installed, and then it started downloading the application. So I'm like, what have you been doing for 38 hours? I don't know.
My first backup took
over 4 meg ADSL.
My first iCloud backup took about 18 hours.
Jeez,
And that
anyway,
excluded-
not doing the... And now it still hasn't finished loading everything, and now I got this message about it being hacked, and would I like to continue the restore, delete it? I don't think Apple understands cloud. I'm just putting it out there.
I think it works
Just
fine
putting it out there.
when you've got 40 megabits down.
Yeah, because then
Yes.
it only takes
hour.
9 hours.
Yeah.
No, well, then you've got 80 megabits down, whatever the hell they've got. But iCloud is
In the
not
States,
great,
averages like 9 megabits per second if you're lucky.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, just putting
But
that
how
out
many
there.
app? 2 app.
I don't know. Depends on what you're on. If you're on Verizon Fios, then obviously it's different. Most Americans I know are on cable or DSL, where their speeds aren't much greater than ours actually, but they have no caps and no shaping. And
No problems.
I want to talk about Epsa now because they're trialing NFC. Is this news? Opikopi's already actually implemented NFC, never mind trial it. Got a bit messy when you get drunk people and technology together. That tends to happen. And if you've been listening to the show until this point, you'll see an illustration of what I'm talking about. But so yeah, if Epsa's trying out
So-
NFC.
I was massively skeptical about this until I heard about their little SD card NFC
Thingy.
thingy.
Simple.
And I was like, that's actually pretty smart. Because one of the biggest hassles with getting any new technology to catch on in a market that doesn't have a lot of disposable income, right, is getting the technology into the hands of the people that will use it,
Yes.
right? And most of us have very, very modern phones. How many of us right here today have an NFC-enabled handset?
Not I.
Not I.
Not I?
And is your my phone NFC enabled.
Is that on my phone?
Hell no. This is on my phone, yeah.
Let me see
It's
it.
part of, it'll be
iPhone.
in my pics.
Okay, we
And
won't
that-
talk about it now then.
And
Pickish.
that, I think, is a clear illustration of what the challenge is going to be.
Oh, nasty.
No, look, you've got to experiment though.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want people to just sit back and go, okay, well, let's get Android 2.2 out to the masses. There are companies like my phone doing that. You want your big network providers to be pushing the boundaries and to be experimenting so that the next device
No.
is going to come along.
Well,
Andy, I agree with you entirely, but I think at the end of the day, you want to launch it into a market where there's more than 2 NFC-enabled devices.
no, I disagree. I think what Absa needs to do and what this pilot is going to do and what all the other banks need to do is they need to get the terminals out there. There's absolutely no point in us having NFC-enabled devices if there's nothing that will read it.
Can I ask something?
So rather convert all the pay terminals to an NFC system, and then
Can I ask-
and
I
then
hear you.
get
How
the
long-
devices out there.
How long did it take
Apparently I
for Chip
can't
and...
ask
Hold on. No, we're having an argument here. How long did it take Chip and Pin to catch on?
It still hasn't.
Ah.
Well,
Sorry,
I
just saying.
And your point is?
I remember when I
Just
started
saying,
at
it's like,
Computer
you know,
Week
Okay, I have a
probably
question.
12 years
Ask,
ago.
ask.
Why do I want NFC? I've got a credit card already that's accepted anywhere in the world. Why do I want to replace it with NFC that
Didn't we
isn't?
just have this fight when
With
Stafford
Stafford, yes, I want to have it again without Stafford. Seriously though, why do I want NFC?
I haven't
Is
thought
it
about
really?
How
is
many
it-
times
is
do
it
you
r-
spend less than $50 on at a shop?
I don't know, but I can use my credit card for that because
Okay.
with FNB I've got infinite swipes.
Yeah.
You just
Okay,
swipe.
how-
As long as
So-
you use your FNB card, it's
How many times?
one price.
How much? How many times do you stand in a queue?
Ben, stop asking rhetorical questions
You're
and
still going to
answer
have to
mine.
stand in a queue to use NFC, Ben.
Yes, but the
It'll just be an NFC-enabled queue.
yes, but the point about NFC is
and it'll be
is-
longer because
is-
it'll break down because it's technology.
And then your iPhone's battery will be flat. You won't be able to pay.
and
And
then
the
you'll
four
get
guys,
hacked.
and the four guys with credit cards will be like, "See you later, shitlords."
No, you know the thing with NFC, I reckon.
Can
that
you
the-
imagine being on your first date at a restaurant and instead of the card machine, the waitress brings over the NFC terminal for you to tap and you're like, oh, shit, my iPhone's battery's flat.
Yeah.
Sorry, dear, would you mind tapping your
sure.
phone for
Yes,
us?
indeed.
I reckon the advancements and the utility of NFC is not going to be payment. I think we've got horse blinkers on. Horse blinkers? We've got blinkers. They don't have to
Just
be a horse.
blinkers.
We've got blinkers on about always thinking about NFC in terms of payment, and I don't think that's where it's really going to come into its own.
Yeah,
I think you've got a
but
point
Andy,
there.
completely in defense of the topic at hand, we were speaking about NFC in the context of
payments.
ABSA launching it for payments.
Well, fair
Just putting
enough,
it out there.
Brett, I agree with you. I think there's a whole bunch of issues in the way. I think, as you said in the Stafford fisticuffs, stick him in the throat with a knife episode.
Stab him in the throat.
As you
I
said,
didn't
people are
say
not going to
that.
want to put their
Sounds like something
iPhone.
you'd
They're
say.
not going to want to pay with their face. They're
Yeah.
not going to want to do those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same. We barely trust a credit card. Look at how scared we are that it's going to get copied by the waiter.
Yes.
Now we've
I've-
got chip and pin. Now it's
Andy, I'm not going to argue for 1 second that it will catch on at some stage. Most definitely, and it has a place. But I think why it's a foolhardy decision for ABSA right now, right, is they're going to have an extremely small base of people able to make those payments, A.
Yes.
Right, and B, by the time the standard is 100% accepted and everything else, it's going to take a couple of months for every single other bank to roll it out. When there is an accepted user base for it, they will get ROI in the space of months. ABSA will still be waiting for its
Have
ROI.
you noticed a trend in the last 2 shows? Whenever we talk about NFC, it ends with Brett being angry. NFC makes
me
Brett
angry.
angry, and it makes me sad. So let's move on.
Indeed.
Because we don't have long left of this year's ZA Tech Show with Andy Hatfield and Benedict Kelly, Brett Haggett. All right.
Why are we now having an English accent?
I don't know.
Well, not an English
seemed
accent.
appropriate.
because we can, Gov.
Because we
In
can.
it. In
All
it.
right, so Tech Central's got the Newsmakers of the Year out. I think we'll cover that in a future episode before the end of the year. How about that? Because
Great idea.
got some other topics, and we still want to do our picks of the week. The Video Game Awards were this week. It's like the Oscars for video
games.
games.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
I didn't see this.
And no surprises that
Give us a run up.
Skyrim, like,
Yeah.
Give us a
everything.
run up. Damn it. You should have said in third place.
Well, I can't remember because I've got terrible memories. But I remember Skyrim winning a lot of
Skyrim
awards.
picked up like the three key awards,
You
which
said
was
playing the Skyrim.
Game of the Year, for Studio of the Year for Bethesda Game Studios, and it also picked up Best RPG.
Well, there you
Skyrim is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I'll talk
So-
about that
Offline
later.
RPGs just don't work for me anymore.
So,
man. It's like,
and-
why am I collecting all this Kif armor if nobody can see it?
And then the
Take
The-
screenshots, put it on
YouTube.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and basically the long and the short of it, if you're on an Xbox 360, Batman Arkham City is the best game to buy.
Okay.
If you're on a PS3, Uncharted 3, Drake's
Oh,
Deception.
I'm playing that at the moment.
Oh,
It's so
if
good.
you're
I've
on-
got it. I
if
haven't
you-
unwrapped it yet.
If you're on a Wii, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and if you're on a PC, Portal 2.
And if you're on a 3DS,
If you're on
Mario
a 3DS,
Kart 7.
Super Mario 3D Land.
Dude, I'm playing that, but I'm playing Mario Kart 7 at the moment. It is so good, so good.
And then
Playing online, Mario Kart 7, racing against
Yeah.
other people, rad.
so things like the interesting ones, which may be a little bit more obscure, is obviously Minecraft won Best Independent Game.
Minecraft Pocket Edition is rubbish.
And then
It's very cool on the PC. It's rubbish on
and
Android.
then
Just putting it
a
out
game
there.
called Bastion, which I hadn't heard of before, which looks quite cute, got Best Downloadable Game.
What was the best indie game?
That was Minecraft.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
With you.
And Minecraft is awesome.
Minecraft is awesome, except
it is
on Android
8-bit
it's poop.
awesome.
They had a sale on to
Is
celebrate.
it worth downloading on the iPad?
Haven't checked it out on that platform. Anyway, we
But just
can talk
know
about
you're
that in
going
a
to
moment.
totally kiss your life goodbye.
So how does online
More
work?
addictive than
There is
WoW.
online on Skyrim, right? You can play. It's not massively multiplayer. Is there no online whatsoever? You can't start a campaign with like 2 friends or no, nothing.
Which makes it even more incredible how immersive it is.
Oh wow.
Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So that's just. I mean, that was the winners of the Video Game Awards, which sounds like it was a bloody good year for
Blizzard
games.
won some
Yes,
lifetime
there's-
achievement.
They have
or-
the Gamer God Award, which
yeah,
went
for
to
taking more of our money than any other
Yeah.
studio.
which went to Blizzard Entertainment. And we were talking about which other studios might win it, like win that kind of thing. And we talked about Valve or Rockstar or
Yeah.
Rare or Bungie. I mean, all of those are pretty awesome studios. I mean,
Look, Blizzard's been consistently awesome. I
Yeah.
can't actually think of a bad Blizzard title. Can you?
no,
All of
the-
the Warcrafts were good.
yeah,
All of the Starcrafts were good.
Blizzard-
Diablo, awesome.
the pretty
World of Warcraft.
the long and the short of it is Blizzard doesn't make crap.
Yes.
And the other thing I love about Blizzard and
Multi-platform since day one.
yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's just. Yeah, you walk into the shop, you buy the disc, you put it into your Mac, your PC, and it works.
Yeah.
And
After downloading an obligatory 267
Gig.
gigabyte
yeah,
patch.
of course.
That's
But don't be
that's,
bitter about
that's one
that.
of the things about modern gaming that doesn't make me happy is you get your new console title, you're like, yes, I can't wait to play this game. Put it in.
This
Download
game.
it.
There is
an
a patch
update.
available for this.
Yeah, it's like, and then it tells you to go and have a meal because it's going to take a while.
Please don't tell me it was actually 267 gigabytes.
No, it
Okay.
was a mild exaggeration. It's 264 gig. I'm kidding. It's the entire game download is I think just on 32 gig with all expansions and patches. now.
Ugh, peanuts.
If you
That's-
download it from scratch.
Which one? World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
yeah.
32 gigs.
But that's free,
So-
that's original
Yeah, it's four
Burning
episodes.
Crusade.
Yeah. Plus Patch
Plus-
City.
Yeah, plus
yeah.
patch.
So, the reason I have Minecraft Pocket Edition is because there was a sale on Android apps last week. For 80 cents, you could choose from Sketch, or you could get Minecraft, or a bunch of applications selling for 80 cents, and they change them every day. So I got a whole lot of rad Android apps. Minecraft Pocket Edition, though, is nothing like Minecraft on the PC.
Yeah.
You just kind of run around, and then you can throw out blocks of any texture and build a world. But there's no combat like there is on the PC. There are no monsters that come to find you.
Yeah.
You can't actually mine anything because
Shamblers.
you just got infinite of everything, and you can build a world.
There's like vine beasts. There's like
Yeah.
strange shambler kind of thingies. Those things are scary.
Anyway, the reason that they were celebrating Android was 10 billion downloads from the Android market so far, which is something incredible. I don't know what iOS has done. The Mac App Store reached a milestone this week as well, 100 million downloads, which is not too
And
bad.
apparently
for desktop App Store,
internationally
I
the
guess.
billionth application shipped.
Wow.
And that was an iOS one. But if you take all of the app stores and add them together, it was...
And that's
1
that thing that
billion.
now Apple is the largest software distributor.
Are you sure
in the
about
world.
that, Britsky? Because
Reading a
iOS
story
Store's
on it.
got, what, 600,000 apps now?
I was reading a story online. Let me
So
quickly
not even a
just find
million,
it.
and they're the biggest.
Let's just see.
Will be interesting.
Mm,
All right, while you look that up, let's start with our picks of the week. This is where we choose technology that we've come across this week and liked, or disliked, or just feel like talking about, and sometimes it's not even technology. Let's start with Andy.
I pick football.
Boerewors.
No, I don't. Okay, so I got a super quick pick and then a longish pick. The super quick pick
It's
is
just taking pretty long already.
I know. It's just my lilting charm. Has anyone heard of zombie cookies?
Oh, it's taking even longer now.
No.
No.
Zombie cookies.
Zombie cookies are, now this is geeking it up a little, especially for me. Zombie cookies are cookies that undelete themselves after you've deleted them.
They're HTTP cookies
Yes,
that undelete themselves.
they undelete themselves.
That's very zombie-like. That's kind of what zombies
Isn't
do.
this scare the bejesus out of you?
So the
They're
Wikipedia
tracking
page
cookies.
says a zombie cookie is any HTTP cookie that is recreated after deletion from backup stored outside the web browser's dedicated cookie storage. That's quite smart. This makes them very difficult
Scary
to
smart.
remove. These cookies may be installed on a web browser that has opted to not receive cookies since they do not completely rely on traditional cookies. All right.
So anyway, that was my scare tactic one.
All right. Will you pick something now?
I will. So the MyPhone. This is the MyPhone
Whose phone?
A300. MyPhone. Not even spelled with a PH. Spelled with an F.
All
Made in PRC.
It's like
Okay.
They don't even say China
LEG's
anymore.
phone, yes.
LG's phone.
Anyway, so it's been a really interesting phone. This is their top model. It's about 1,400 rand. And one of the interesting things was chatting about this with people on Twitter was how this kind of $100-ish smartphone market has just exploded, and it exploded without me noticing it. You've got the
Well done on that.
HTC Wildfire, you've got the Huawei Ideos, you've got the Samsung Galaxy Y
The
apparently.
Huawei Ideos has taken Kenya by storm.
by Storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now these guys have shipped 1 million units in Africa.
Wow.
And so I think there's two or three interesting things about it. The one is that it's pretty damn cheap. Their bottom of the range model isn't quite Android yet, but it's going for $700. They're targeting Africa, and they're targeting Africa with you'll remember the chat, Si, when again it was a Stafford chat when we were talking about how powerful it would be if someone wanted to own the entire vertical. So they produced the phone, they had the app store, they made the deals with the content providers, which
Yes.
is what these guys have done. They've got deals
Oh,
with
wow.
music providers. They're about to release their African app store. Nog an app store that does bug me a
Because
little.
the world needs another app store.
I think what we're going to have is an app store for
Can you
each
get onto the Android
provider.
market there, though?
Yeah, you can get
Okay,
onto the Android
cool.
market. It's vanilla Android, but 2.2. I don't think it'll, with these kind of specs, I don't think it'll go any higher. It has a couple of cons. I mean, it's a little slow. The touchscreen's a little unresponsive. The typing interface, the buttons are just too small. Maybe I've just got stubby thumbs.
It looks like a very small screen.
It's a fair. Oh, look, I mean, again, the best trick that Steve Jobs ever did was convincing you to use his super premium phone as the benchmark.
So where did you get this from?
I know the PR people
Oh,
from my
okay.
phone, and I've been interested in these cheap Chinese smartphones entering the African market for a while now.
It's a very sturdy build, eh?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like about it. It has its faults. I think Craig Wilson's done a very in-depth review, which I encourage people to go read. I'll get a review up soon. But the most exciting thing for me here is not the phone itself, it's what it represents.
Right.
Is that player that is targeting Africa, owning the entire stack. They're
Yes.
releasing their app store, they've got the content deals. This thing comes preloaded with a whole bunch of music, and all African music, not
Okay.
international music.
Right.
Live DJ sets. It's even got, which is odd, it's got some Malema and Zuma parody, which I thought was interesting.
That
Preloaded.
is quite interesting.
Preloaded, yeah. Preloaded.
Maybe it's the DA's
I highly doubt it.
attempt at
Covert
yeah,
Yeah,
propaganda.
highly doubt it.
propaganda phone.
But anyway, so vanilla Android, that's it.
Okay, cool.
1,400 rand, my phone.
Nice pick. Thank you very much, Ben Kelly.
Can I quickly jump in?
Definitely
No,
worth-
shut up.
Wait,
Ben
hold on.
Kelly.
Whoa. I was wrong. There was a small difference between an M and a B there. The 1 millionth application in the world.
Okay, now that makes sense.
Ships. Sorry.
No problem.
A little
Benedict.
overexcited there.
Simon.
Yes, I pick your beard.
Oh, thank you. Mine's more of a pick on.
Okay.
I have a particular author who I like to read. So sort of guilty pleasure because his books aren't high literature or anything like that. His name's Matthew Riley.
Ah.
He writes kind of the equivalent of Jerry Bruckheimer action movie.
Aha.
But the books.
He's an Australian action thriller
Yes,
writer, so
yes.
I already not
So
that
he-
taken with him, to be
So
honest.
if
I'm honest.
the action kind of starts on page 1 and doesn't stop until page 400-500, and it's really quite awesome. And
Okay.
you can knock through them in about a day, but they're a hell of a lot of fun to read. And his latest one is out, which is a continuation of a series.
Okay.
But apparently it's out here, but it's not out anywhere else in the world. Because if you go to Amazon.co.uk or Amazon.com, it's only releasing in February.
Well, he's Australian, so...
But you can buy it in exclusive books here.
okay.
Now, if I want to buy the ebook, I
Yes.
can buy it from Kalahari
All right.
for 267 Rand.
But you can't get it on Kindle.
But I can't get it on Kindle because they use their Adobe DRM.
We always complain about things not coming to South Africa,
But here
and now
we've-
Benedict Kelly is picking on someone for coming to South Africa first.
Yes, I am. Because I want to read this book. It's available in my stores, and I want to read it. I want to read it on my Kindle.
Oh,
I
you
do
just
not
can't
want
win.
to read
You
it-
suck. Why? Because you are here.
Because I just don't understand it. It's like, why would you release a book in South Africa before you release it in the UK?
Test the waters. I don't know.
Why would you release it after Christmas in the UK and America? I suppose-
He's Australian. They
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 from
can
the
be
world,
obtuse
This
sometimes.
is little revenge.
All
So
right.
it's very odd, and I'm quite annoyed because I really want to read this book, but I
Okay.
refuse to buy the Dead Tree version.
Nothing to do with technology, but great pick. Thank you very much, Ben Kelly. Well, I suppose it loosely involves your Kindle.
Yes.
It's inability to get a book.
Ebooks.
All right. Brett Haggard.
I have a pick and a pick on.
Alrighty.
Right. My pick is who here likes knives?
Who doesn't
Okay.
like knives?
They're great for cutting
Stuff.
bread. I don't know.
Okay, so
what-
one of the most favorite, famous knife companies in the world is a company called Columbia River Knife and Tool.
Okay.
CRKT.
Good to know.
They make these fantastic knives.
Gonna
that you
have
can
to
pop in your
keep it from
pocket and
long-term
stuff like
memory
that.
just for capacity reasons. But nice
Really,
to know.
really useful for someone like me that opens a lot of boxes every single day when new stuff arrives. So today,
they caricatures each and every one.
okay. Anyway, so Columbia River Knife and Tool make very, very strong knives, right? These like robust, very, very cool, sharp kind of pen knife things. And they now have
Oh, Lordy.
an iPhone case that is absolutely freaking amazingly awesome.
Right.
It's called the Inox case. So go to www.inoxcase.com/Inox case. And it is this ridiculously robust, extremely light, stainless steel, awesome iPhone case with a little flip-up lid.
Have you used one?
I've seen the YouTube video of it, and I plan to buy one the moment I get to the US.
Okay.
It looks just fantastic. I've never come across a product that Columbia River makes that's not awesome. So I'm kind of excited that they have an iPhone case now. It's
Wow, it
very
looks
light,
pretty
very
hot,
strong.
eh?
Yeah,
Like the way it
Available.
looks.
Available in a choice of colors and designs. So yeah, very cool. And like $60, so not like breaking the bank, but a pretty premium case.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that is my pick of the week. My pick on this week is TweetDeck.
For being stupid.
For being horrible, for taking a giant backflip backwards.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, did they do an update?
Yeah,
I abandoned TweetDeck a while
So
back.
you know, Twitter went through the new Twitter this week, the new
Yes.
update of the new Twitter, and to coincide with that, there's the new TweetDeck. TweetDeck is no longer yellow; it is now blue. It no longer runs through air; it runs natively on.
Weren't they
the
acquired a
machine.
while ago?
Yes, by Twitter.
Yes.
Which is why this horrible change has come about. Dude, so I switched to this S3 earlier this week, so I've been playing
Yes.
around with Windows. One of the first things I go and get is TweetDeck.
Yeah.
It just sucks. It's just freaking horrible.
But how do you really feel about it?
No, it
Hey,
really
you can schedule
completely
tweets from
does.
it, so I don't need Hootsuite anymore.
Except it took me the better part of 2 hours to get it to actually sign into my Twitter account.
This looks awesome. I'm downloading it immediately.
No, it is horrible.
Do you
It is
think?
completely
Do you
horrible.
think it could be a case of people who used TweetDeck before hate it, and people who are using it now for the first time will love it?
It's sticky,
Maybe.
it's sluggish, it's unstable, it doesn't refresh tweets. sign into Facebook
Install
straight away,
app.
but it wouldn't sign into Twitter, who now owns TweetDeck. To cut a long story short, I went and I downloaded Echophon for Windows 7, and it's just awesome.
Okay.
So, but
Cool.
yeah, TweetDeck,
Not so much.
shame on you. Horrible, horrible step backwards. It
And
sucks.
that's
I'm very surprised at that. You know what I think that is it's kind of inner Twitter politics,
right.
because they got bought, and it's a fundamentally different interface to the native Twitter apps. And I have a feeling there's just some office politics there,
Yes.
and they're getting pulled in two directions, and they landed up in the middle.
yeah.
Looks like somebody drew this wireframe with wax crayons. Come on, people.
Native Twitter client for
Ugly.
Mac never had a problem. It's
And
lightweight and
Here's what's
beautiful.
interesting. As far as I can understand, the Mac client is still the old yellow
No, I'm busy
Air.
downloading it. It's
Is
new.
it? Okay, so it's the new one. Ah,
Yeah. It was
Don't
is
do it,
rubbish.
dude.
I never liked TweetDeck, so maybe I like it now.
oh no, it
All right.
fails. It fails.
So my pick last week was the most important game release of 2011. Mario Kart 7 is now available for the Nintendo 3DS,
In 3D.
and it poses. Dude, seriously, like, who doesn't love Mario Kart? I have not put it down since it arrived
I've
for
been
me
playing
like
it
2
too.
weeks ago. It is
freaking amazing.
ridiculous, and it's seriously fun online. So you connect to the internet, to the Nintendo network. It finds you players from around the world. It's got a little spinning globe. It shows you their me, and it tells you what their name is and where they're from, and that's it. You can't talk to them. You can't friend them. You just know who you're racing against, like whoever from Japan and this nice fellow from Singapore and somebody from Australia, and then you race. And it is too much fun. It's worth buying a 3DS for. I'm not even joking.
Well, that's
It's
how
really
I felt actually about Lego Star Wars 3DS.
Yeah,
And,
I don't know if it's got the longevity of Mario Kart, but yeah, it was a great title as well. Lots of fun.
Yeah. And it's strange because there's a handful of titles that really make that platform amazing. It's like
Yes.
really, really fun, and they work really, really well with that platform. And there's a handful of stuff that you kind of look at and you go, "Oh, I could take or leave the 3D effect on this."
Yeah.
But those two, Mario Kart for 3DS and Lego Star Wars, fantastic, absolutely awesome.
Anyway, that's my pick of the week.
Cool.
And that pretty much brings us to the end of this week's ZA Tech Show. Thanks for being here, Andy Hatfield.
My pleasure.
From Real Time Wine, andyhatfield.com, or at Andy Hatfield on Twitter.
That's me.
He says stuff on Twitter about other stuff. All right, thanks. It's like it's the end of the year, man.
That is
It's the end of the year.
glowing. Some tired brains in the studio.
Ben Kelly says a bit less on Twitter,
Yes, I do.
but you can find him at ungeeked.co.za, a blog that gets updated once every 2 years or so.
Thank you. We're very proud of our update schedule.
Otherwise, he's at the
Regular
Mail and
clockwork.
Guardian.
We. It sounds like there's a team behind
At
it.
Yes.
Benedict Kelly
A whole
on
lot of
Twitter.
people not be doing any work there.
Staff of Ungeeked.
At bretsky.co.za.
Yes, that is me.
Is from Hypertext Media Communications, publishers of Connect Magazine and other leading titles. Thanks for being here, Brett.
Thank you, Si.
I'm at Simon Dingle, and this was the ZA Tech Show for Tuesday, 13 December, recorded on Monday, 12 December 2011. Brett's
Indeed.
happy because I muck it up usually when I do the dates.
Only once.
The ZA Tech Show is made possible by Vodacom. Powered to you at vodacom.co.za. See you next week. Goodbye.